A grenade was thrown into the Christiana Cafe a couple weeks back. And you could say, well, that's Europe. Listen to me. They're a few years ahead of us, that's all. It's incredible. In Malmo, when an Israeli tennis player went to play, did you see what went on? The burning of the buses and the attacking of the police, out of control. Out of control. There was a gun battle last week. They took out an imam, right? In a gun battle, an Islamic gun battle in Detroit. You know, I made a list. I wonder if I took it with me. I made a list of, here, listen to me. 3 weeks. An imam is killed in an Islamic gun battle. Chicago, there was a halal slaughterhouse that was raided, and they broke up a Danish cartoon plot. They were going to kill Fleming Rose, the publisher of the Danish cartoons, which, by the way, not one newspaper would run. Not one. That as early as 2006, I went to NYU for a panel discussion on the cartoons. At the last minute, NYU wouldn't run the cartoons. So there were 12 easels on the stage, shrouded in a burqa. This is NYU. This is supposed to be, you know, the bastion of... Yeah, in Boston, the son of a Muslim American Society leader, that MAS. It's important because these are the Muslim groups that come out and they talk their taqiyya, their lies to advance Islam. He was busted in a terror bust. There were 3 busted in Ohio. They were plotting to commit terror attacks on Americans overseas. A New York imam was indicted on charges. Indicted on charges of lying to the FBI on Zazi. You know Zazi? Zazi the Nazi? He's a Denver terrorist. I call him Zazi the Nazi. It's Nazism. It's Nazism, except I think these are worse. I mean, so Zazi, just so that you know, was plotting to blow up the New York subway system on 9/11. Massachusetts, there was a Muslim plot broken up targeting 2 politicians, malls, and troops in Iraq. This is all on my site, all cited. It's all there. The FBI arrested Muslim for planning to blow up a building in Dallas. You must know about that one. Okay. Illinois man was charged in a plot to bomb the federal office, and there were Muslims accused of targeting the base in Quantico. This is 3 weeks, and the media doesn't know what happened at Fort Hood. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? So the media has abdicated its role as public servant. They've now become, in my opinion, a criminal organization. Yeah, it's not even, oh yeah. Because if the media had vetted this candidate, okay, he could never have gotten elected. He could never have gotten elected with this band of hoodlums that he runs with. Reverend Wright, and nobody talked about him going down to Kenya and campaigning for Odinga. That's a whole other conference. Odinga, who was the inciter here, Kenya is the beacon of democracy, the shining light on the dark continent, and he was backing the violent inciter who tried to overthrow the duly elected president, Kibaki. They were cutting people's arms off. They were raping the women. He didn't hear anything. He campaigned for him. I got pictures. I have it all. Yawn. You had Percy Sutton on New York One. He was a civil rights lawyer for Malcolm X, saying that he was approached by Khalid al-Mansour about a young man, a genius of a man, who he wanted to sponsor to go to Harvard. And he was acting for Walid, one of the richest men in Saudi Arabia. Now, let me ask you something. Where does a guy who grew up in Kenya, whose half-brother is living on a nickel a month, come to Percy Sutton and Mansour and Walid? I don't know. But I know that if I had the New York Times or a research organization behind me, I know I'd want to know, wouldn't you? Reverend Wright, Louis Farrakhan, Bill Ayers. I mean, it's unbelievable. Does he know one good guy? Is there anybody? I mean, I heard today he replaced Dennis Ross with some Islamist at state. It's just incredible. And I'm going to tell you a couple things. The plan. Here's the plan. First year, he wants energy. That's cap and trade. He wants health care. It's 20% of the American economy. And he wants education to marinate your children's brains in garbage. And if you don't think it's possible, it was the children who delivered him to the White House. His foreign policy is in a holding pattern for this year. I'm going to tell you something. Next year, you're not going to believe your eyes. I'm warning you. And so you have to get involved. You have to get off your couches. I don't care if people don't like you when you talk. I've lost more friends. I've got 5,000 Facebook friends, but I have 2 friends left in real life. Yeah, I'm really sad. I can't add anymore. I reached the limit. I'm like, you can have a friend limit? That's so status, you know? It's disgusting that they would take the vote on health care on the day right after Fort Hood. The country's so distracted because they may not care. But God love those men and women. God love those that lay their lives on the line every damn day. I love them. I love them. So that these leftist tools could yap their flapping tongues off and spew their bile. They lay down their lives so they could speak freely. Net Neutrality Act is coming. They passed on it. Net neutrality means that the internet will not be free. They say, oh, now it will be free. What? You mean it's not free now? Sure feels free to me. No, it's not. The government needs to take control. We're going to take it out of the hands of private enterprise. Can you show me in one instance where the government did anything better than private enterprise at any time? Never. It's control. It's information control. The media is dead. The only place to get real news, and you need real news now more than ever. Now more than ever. And so many things are happening on so many levels. The healthcare, they don't, listen, the people don't want it. I spoke at a couple tea parties this past summer. There were people there that had never been politically active. They don't care. And the only way that you're going to affect change is that the woman, I'm sorry, I forgot her name, who said you have to get involved on a local level. All politics are local. They run on these small city councils. They run on the school boards. They run on the Republican ticket for these little things. And then they get the power grid goes up. This is what, and I'll tell you something else they do. Watch them. They target purple states and purple districts, and they know it to a science. It's incredible. And those, in Troy, New York, they just found Acorn was voting on the names of absentee ballots of people that didn't vote. They took their names. They wrote in, my grandma's going to be in the hospital. Can I have the absentee ballot? And they voted. Now, you're going to say, well, it was only 36 votes. But those 36 votes turned the election, went to a Democrat. They know exactly what they're doing. They have it down to a science. It's very scary. Look, if it was up to me, I think that the voter rolls need to be purged. We always knew there was a 5 to 6% ghost vote, but now it's really hard to know. When even in 2006, when they indicted in Vegas 40,000 illegal ballots, there was fraud, Acorns 40,000 ballots. If that's what they know about and nobody's checking. Nobody's checking. I mean, even during the election campaign, I broke the story of Obama was receiving money from Gaza, a Hamas Rafah refugee camp in Gaza, $35,000 from the Monins. Nobody cared. First of all, you're not allowed to receive foreign dollars. You're not allowed to receive, but you're receiving it from jihadis? I mean, what does that tell you? There were phone banks in Gaza. And when I approached Gerald Nadler on it, he goes, well, it wasn't in the New York Times. I said, what's that, your reality check? If it wasn't in the New York Times, it didn't happen. It's Al Jazeera ran it. That's where I saw it.